Today we would like to talk about the MOD study. We are really fortunate to have Steve and Debbie with us today. Steve participated in the MOD's behavioural activation study and received the intervention. And Debbie is here to share her thoughts on how the intervention may have helped her husband. We are keen to hear their views. MODS was a large-scale trial of a guided self-help intervention for older adults with multiple long-term health conditions and low mood. The MODS intervention used a booklet which had been designed and adapted with input from a variety of people. These included people with experience of low mood and/or physical health conditions, caregivers and members of our consensus group, as well as members of the Patient and Public Involvement Advisory Group. The booklet looked at ways to help participants keep doing the activities they found useful in their life. Participants were supported to use the MODS booklet by a trained MODS support worker. Where activities had to stop, for example due to being physically too difficult, the MODS support worker helped the participants to look at alternative activities which would help them keep the important things they got out of doing these activities in their life. As part of helping participants to access available support, the MODS support worker could help the participant to find out about and access services from their GP. The MODS support worker could also provide information about other agencies and groups which might help the participant to maintain their well-being and carry on being able to do the things which were important to them. So, Steve, if I could ask you first of all, what did you think about being involved in the study?
I found it very interesting once I got into it. I was a bit reticent, I suppose, to start with. But once I got into it and started talking with the support worker, with Suzanne, I found it very interesting with the things that she was able to suggest to me. And I found it very, very helpful.
Okay.
I don't think myself that I was sort of very deeply depressed, but just felt a bit low and a bit fed up and what have you. Got into a rut of just doing nothing, basically.
Right.
And I think she got me out of that, thinking of things to do to improve matters, which I think it's certainly done even this far down the line.
Yes, yeah. So as you say, at first you were a little bit unsure, but you feel that actually having that support from Suzanne to think about things that you could maybe start doing, get you out of that rut, was something that you found useful.
Yes, very much so. Just talking, and I think that was the important thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though it was only for an hour a week, I found it very interesting.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's good. And Debbie, did the opportunity arise for Steve to discuss taking part in the study with you?
It did, but we didn't discuss it very much, to be honest, to begin with. It was something that he felt he was doing.
Yes.
And he gave me an outline, really, of what had been discussed and suggested.
Yeah.
So I was able to support him that way.
Right, okay. So it sounds like you weren't involved in kind of any of the sessions, but did you do any of the activities that maybe Steve started doing as a result of the study?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that was brought up was about getting out more.
Yes.
It was difficult for him to do any of his hobbies because of his health, so that was out of the question. But getting out and about more was something that I could encourage and help with. And of course, I tend to go everywhere with him because of his conditions. So it was good for both of us, really.
Oh, right, okay. So as you say, you feel it helped you, helped you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And Steve, you've already mentioned Suzanne, but is there anything you'd like to say about the role of Suzanne, of your support worker?
Yeah, I just found her very helpful. Obviously, she was experienced in what we were doing, and even if I, to start with, didn't have much idea of what was going to be involved, she took the time to explain things.
Yes.
I mean, she was brilliant. She really was. Because she knew exactly the right things, or seemed to know the right things to say. Every time, no matter what I came up with, she was able to suggest things to, the breaking up into little pieces.
Okay.
Not to do too much, which was one of my big failings. Was if I felt all right, I'd go mad at it.
Right.
And then suffer for a week afterwards.
Ah, right. That's interesting to know that was one of the things that you talked about.
That was probably one of the most important things, I think. As well as suggesting other things that she felt might be helpful.
Okay.
And she was spot on, I think, most of the time. To be honest.
Okay. And what did you feel about the sessions that you had? Did you feel the length was about right, and that the frequency, how often you had the sessions, was about okay?
Yeah, looking back on it now, I would say yes, the sort of hour-ish once a week would probably be about right. At the time, there were times when I felt, we're just getting into the hang of, just getting into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And the hour had gone by. So it was amazing how quickly the time flew. But she was fairly flexible, and I mean, I don't think any of the sessions lasted exactly an hour, or they usually went a bit past it by the time that we sort of finished discussing things.
Okay. And generally, people kind of had the sessions weekly, or maybe a little bit more spread out. Did you find that worked for you?
Very much so, yeah. I think we had a couple of breaks for like bank holidays or what have you. But generally speaking, it was once a week. And it meant that you were still perhaps doing what you'd discussed the previous week.
Right,
And you could relate to how it had worked, and whether it was okay, or whether I found that it was, a problem or something like that. So I think, a week in between was just about the right time.
Was about okay for you. Okay. And there was the booklet that I mentioned at the start that you used.
Yep.
How did you find the booklet and using it?
I mean, I sort of, when I read it, I thought, well, it's a bit trite almost.
Okay.
It was, they did this and they did this, and they found this helpful and whatever.
Yes.
But when you get into it and start using it, then although my notes tend to be fairly scribbled and what have you, they mean something to me. And I, found that it was useful to look at and to keep motivating yourself.
Yeah.
So if you got stuck, if it felt like I didn't want to really do anything, I could perhaps look at this and, one of the ones was walking around the garden.
Right.
And I could do that, provided it wasn't raining or snowing, then I'd go for just tot around the garden for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've just shown me your booklet that you brought in with your list there of the things that you were looking at doing. Yeah. So it sounds like having that list and being able to look at that was something that was useful for you.
Very much so. I mean, as I say, when I looked at it to begin with, I thought, oh, blimey, because it talks about going supermarket shopping and what have you, and listing but then when you think about it, it's sort of very apt for the sorts of things. And I think I started to go out more, didn't I, to go with Deb to do the shopping and what have you.
Yeah.
It can sometimes be a problem because of problems walking and what have you. But generally speaking, the things that I've listed, I'm still doing now 2 years later. That's
brilliant. So you're still using it and doing those.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you find it useful because you got your sessions with Suzanne, but the time in between, was it useful to have the booklet to refer back to?
I think so, because it enabled me to, one of the ones I've got here is visit stately homes, etc.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that more than what I'd done or we'd done before.
Right.
I say we got into a rut where we just basically didn't really do much at all.
Yeah.
We joined English Heritage, so that gave us motivation to go.
Oh, right, yes.
To visit different places, which is always interested in history. So that was one of the things that we both enjoyed. So.
Yeah. So joining that kind of gave you a little bit of a push to see more.
I mean, I think the sessions gave me the initial push.
Yes.
And then, through Deb's work, we were able to get a cheap ticket, basically, a cheap season ticket, and it was something that seemed apt. So we went to a few places.
Yes.
Just to have a day out almost, or an afternoon out, depending on where we went.
Yeah. And have you kept up with that? Are you still visiting places?
Yeah. I mean, like last week, it was only local, but we went, beautiful day, just a ride down to Thorne Park, which is 5 minutes probably from where we live, and they've got a little memorial rose garden.
Right,
we went
yes.
and just sat there for half an hour.
A lake, and we watched the ducks and all
Yeah.
the ducklings. And,
Had an ice
an
cream.
aviary. And
Yeah.
Oh,
Spent 2 hours, which, probably 2 years ago we wouldn't have done that.
No.
Just been sat in the house and, thought, well, it looks sunny outside. And it got us out.
Yeah,
And a little bit of exercise for me, and obviously got Deb out the house as well.
Yeah, so it got you both out the house, and you know, nice environment that you were able to
exactly just
to
nice
enjoy.
and relaxing, which again is something that I wouldn't have thought of before, to be honest.
Yeah. You've mentioned these things already, but what people often said they found was useful was actually thinking about breaking tasks down, or not feeling that you had to do everything all at once. And you've mentioned those already. Is there anything more you'd like to add about those particular things?
I think it's a case of getting used to breaking it down into little things, because I tend to, when I'm feeling all right, that I will go and do things. I mean, particularly gardening. That's and I'll try and get everything done all in one go, like mowing the lawn or something like that. And now I've done it so that I'll perhaps do half of it. Sit down, have a glass of lime juice or wine or something, and then do the other half afterwards. So I've found that very useful, and although I still get tired and still end up in pain sometimes, it tends to resolve itself quicker than it used to do. I worked non-stop, wouldn't I, for 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
He wouldn't listen to me.
Would he not?
Telling him to stop.
I think that sometimes that's what you need, is a third party.
Yeah.
To say the same thing that Deb was saying to me. But,
Yes.
Because of the sort of thing that I volunteered to do, I listen perhaps a bit more than I would do with Deb.
Yeah. So having somebody kind of outside and saying the same thing. Yeah.
And probably saying it in a different way, and at a different time, because obviously I tended to go upstairs out of the way and have the conversation with Suzanne. So everything was focused on that.
Yeah.
Whereas when Deb she'd probably tell me halfway through me gardening or the mowing. So I think from that point of view, it was more the timing of it and the fact that obviously Suzanne was.
It was somebody other than me giving him permission to take his time.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. Like you say, been given the permission to do it.
Yeah.
You
I think
was useful.
That was probably. I mean, that again is part of my psyche. I think is that I felt like she was saying it's all right, and being condescending towards me perhaps a bit, which then motivated me to keep going and going and going.
Right. Okay.
So it made it make sense, if you like, and then now I listen to what she says most of the time.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. You've touched on this a little bit already, but do you feel that any of the changes that you've made have kind of increased your ability to do things or helped with your physical health?
It did to start with. Now, the problem is that my knee, although I've had surgery on it, hasn't worked, sadly.
Right.
And over the last 6 months, it's got worse again.
Yeah.
And I've got an appointment with the specialist next month to perhaps have another knee replacement on it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
But I think it had started to, I mean, and I don't think there's any connection with it. I think it's just something that it hasn't worked, which does happen occasionally with these.
Yeah.
But it has affected me that I'm not as mobile now as I was probably when I was doing the mod scheme.
Yeah.
I was probably just about more or less back to normal, I think, with regards to getting around with my knee and what have you. But it has got worse.
But it's got worse since then, which has got in the way of
very
things.
much so. But I do tend to do little things, and if I can, it's like I go shopping sometimes, but not every time.
Okay.
And I probably don't walk around the garden as often as I used to. So little things like that. But and because I'm not as mobile, I put weight on again, which doesn't help when you've got knee problems, of course.
Yeah.
So, but the difference is that I'm not getting down about it. I know what the situation is and what I've got to do. And obviously, once I've seen the specialist, depending on what they say, then I know what I can do to improve matters.
Yeah. Okay. So the experience of being involved in mods and finding out about the things that you can do to help yourself, you feel you'll be able to use later on.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. Do you think that being involved in the study has had any impact on the level of loneliness maybe that you experienced or connectedness with people or things?
I would say definitely yes. In that one of the things Suzanne said was to perhaps look at my phone contacts and see if there's somebody I haven't spoken to for ages.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I've done that with a few people and spoke to them and chat. One thing that you realise is that they are possibly in a similar sort of thing themselves. And I've had a few comments back afterwards to say, oh, thanks for ringing. It was great talking to you.
Yeah.
You've cheered me up. And I felt the same way, that speaking to them had cheered me up as well. I don't know whether you've noticed. I feel much better from talking to them.
Yeah.
And finding that they're suffering the same sorts of things that I was.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly, I don't think I get down as much as I was doing.
Right.
Even though I'm probably worse off now than I was when it started, because of what I went through.
Yeah. So as you say, you feel even though maybe physically you're worse off because of kind of your knee, you feel that your mood isn't as bad. I
don't think it's anywhere near as bad as
no.
it was. And I don't think I was deeply depressed.
No.
In that I never considered doing self-harm or killing myself or anything silly like that. Well, not silly, but anything drastic like that. But it was just more feeling lonely and feeling not very happy with life in general.
Yeah.
And I've got round that. It occurs occasionally, but I feel I can get out of it now. Even if it's just walking around the garden.
Yeah.
Things like that seem to help tremendously.
That's really useful to know. And it sounds like when Debbie was talking before, she felt that the taking part in mods had been helpful for her. But it sounds like some of the people that you rang that you were speaking to, that you were helping them by contacting them,
just by talking to them. And they're people I've known for years. I never thought of that they might be in the same sort of position as me. It's amazing how many people have said. And I've talked about the scheme as well about mods.
Yes. Yeah.
And tried to explain to them what, in a poor way, what it involves and what have you. So I find that it's really, really helpful from that point of view.
That's great. That's really great to know. And the sessions that you had with Suzanne, they were all done over the telephone. How did you find working with Suzanne over the telephone?
I found it fine. I mean, I don't think there would have been any difference either doing it over Zoom or something like that, or even face to face, because that was it intimated that it might be face to face when we originally spoke about it, and I've been quite happy with that. Admittedly, I think because Suzanne knew what she was doing, she made it easy for me to relate to it and to talk about things and what have you. Yeah. So I think it can work either way, to be honest.
Okay, and as you say, you found it worked okay.
It worked
for you.
fine, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, definitely.
And Debbie, we've touched on some of these things already, but you said that you had noticed a difference in the activities that Steve did. Was there anything in particular that you noticed he did more of, or new activities that he started?
Nothing new per se. It does try and come to the shops with me on a Friday, the local shops.
Yeah. Okay.
When he's not hurting too much.
Yeah.
Which he didn't do before. And I think since I've retired as well, that's helped a lot, because it means we can get out more. Yeah. He's not stuck at home on his own with nowhere to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So if he wants to go out, we go out. Even if it's just for a drive and a quick half-hour walk round for me, and he's on his scooter. Yeah. And I think that makes a big difference to both of us, mood-wise. Yes. And it keeps his spirits up. Because occasionally, when he does get down, I think it's one, the pain gets him down. And two, the fact that he feels useless. And that's horrible to see as well. Right, yeah. So if I think he's getting that way, I'll suggest we go out somewhere. Right. But it's less and less often now. Right. So that he feels like that. So that's good. Yeah, so that sounds like a positive thing. Yes. As you say, just doing a bit of something, just going out for a short while seems to really help. Definitely. Yeah, okay. Is there anything in particular that you still use and that you found useful? I mean, you've mentioned a few things there, but I just wonder if there's anything, you think, that is something that I really do still find useful.
I think the going out is probably the most important from that point of view, in that, we go out for something, we might go up to the local pub for a drink or for something to eat. And we've tried different places. So as well as the stately homes and going out, things like that, which we still do, they're the ones, I think, just to get out the house at times. As Deb said, since she retired, it's different. But I used to be there on my own in the house. Yeah. Deb had the car, so I couldn't go anywhere. And particularly during the winter months, it was very depressing from that point of view. Yeah. But I think we tend to do more things off the cuff almost. Right. Yeah. I sometimes go back to where I was planning things for the week, which I started doing with the diary sheet and what have you. Yes. And I tend to use the phone diary to put something in. Right. Yeah. And then we make an arrangement or decide to go out for a drink or, for a drive round.
It is difficult to plan to do anything in advance. Yeah. Because we never know from day to day how much pain he's going to be in. Because if he's in a lot of pain, there's no way we can go out anywhere. So that's why it tends to be, you know, we get up in the morning and he's okay, or relatively. We'll say, right, come on, let's go somewhere. But if every time you try and plan something happens and we can't go.
Yeah,
so
Murphy's Law, I think.
Yeah. So we tend not to make advanced plans. We just do spur of the moment things.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you have kind of a list of the sort of things you might do, and they're there, and then you will see. If physically. You're able to do them, then you will do them if you can.
That's very true. I mean, before COVID, I always would go out with a couple of friends every week, once a week, just sort the world out and what have you. And then that stopped, obviously, during COVID and afterwards. But we started doing that now. And similarly, Deb goes out with a school friend. So once a month, 6 weeks.
We said we'd do it once a month, and it never is, but yeah, it's nice that we can meet up and spend most of the day together.
Yeah.
So we've started doing that more now again.
Right.
Got back into the swing of things.
Yeah, yeah. I think, as you say, COVID stopped people from doing things, and then it's getting back into doing them again, isn't it?
And, you know, with not being well, you were always, even after COVID had sort of finished effectively, or the shutdowns, the lockdowns had finished, I was still wary about going anywhere, like a pub or somewhere crowded, for ages afterwards. I was very wary about you know, mixing with people, having spent 2 years sort of on my own, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Was that something that you discussed with Suzanne in the sessions? Was that anything that you touched on?
To be honest, I can't honestly remember. I'm fairly certain that we probably would have discussed it. Because I think would certainly have come up at some stage. But I can't honestly remember. You know, I just know that I mean, I always felt that I was okay because I was an only child for most of my younger years until my mum died and my dad remarried. So I was an only child. So I was used to being on my own.
Right. Yes.
And you know, I was always find something to do, satisfy my own company and what have you. So it didn't bother me perhaps as much as a lot of people. But then I noticed it when I started going back out into the wide world. Yeah. I did notice it a bit more then.
Okay. And Debbie, were there things that Steve discussed with you after the sessions about what had taken part? I think you mentioned that he did discuss a little bit with you, but can you remember anything in particular that you discussed that had come out?
I think it was more about the activities that had been suggested, in so much as doing things that he enjoyed doing.
Yes.
Like going to football, which we've been going to the football matches, home matches of his team, which is Notts County.
Okay.
So it was travelling down.
Yeah.
Watching the football and coming back. And there's very few that we missed on home matches. Yeah. Which was quite good. So, I mean, that was something that he always looked forward to. But other things like Steve always does the washing up.
Right.
Tells me off if I do it. And it's just one of the things that he's got into the routine of doing.
Yes.
Since the sessions with the mods. Other things like taking his time over the mowing the lawn and things.
Yeah.
And it was about doing things in stages that he spoke to me about.
Yeah.
Which I never said, I told you so, but I told you so. So they were the main topics of conversation, really, that we spoke about after his sessions. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like those sorts of things were the things that were discussed. Do you find that knowing those things and the bits of the mod studies that seemed to work for Steve, do you think they were beneficial for you in any way? Did they help you?
I think definitely. It took, I'd say, I don't want to say pressure off me, but it made me feel better knowing that Steve felt able to do these things and do them in stages.
Yes, yeah.
So it took away some of the worry, I think.
Right.
Because knowing that he tended to push himself to do everything all at once before all this, I knew that he was going to suffer afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And it took some of the worry off, which is only a good thing.
Yes, yeah. So if you weren't worrying about Steve and how he was going to be after he'd done things, you found that was, like you say, it took the worry and the pressure off. Okay. Well, you've been absolutely brilliant. You've mentioned lots of really useful things there. Can I just ask kind of to sum things up? If you were to sum up your experience of taking part in mods, what would you say? Kind of what would the take home message be? Do you think, Steve?
I think basically, if you're offered it, I would suggest that it would be well worthwhile taking it up, because it certainly made a difference. I mean, it's not world changing or life changing, but it does give you things to think about and to put into operation, which help with regards to how you may be feeling at a particular time. And it's very easy to fall into a low mood if you're in constant pain.
Yeah,
and it takes your mind off it. And talking with a third party, I think, helps tremendously.
Right. So as you say, that support from someone else that you found was useful.
Who can suggest things to you, which you might not have thought about.
Yeah.
Or point out that it's worthwhile doing it, even if you yourself think, well, okay. They're able to encourage you to do that. And once you've done it, you're more susceptible to listen to it next time.
Yes,
so,
good point.
I would suggest, if anybody is offered it,
Yeah. So, like a couple of things there. I mean, one, you said if you can't think of anything, they could suggest things, which you found was useful, and just kind of giving you that little bit of a push to maybe try things was useful as well.
I mean, I think I went in fairly open-minded about it. But then again, I always tend with things like that to sort of be a bit sceptical. But inside the first session, I think I was sold on the idea.
Right.
Definitely.
Oh, that's really good. That it only took that one session for you to feel it would be useful.
I realised that things that she was suggesting were things that would help. And then I felt much more comfortable. And I think you always feel a bit reticent. Well, I did anyway, to think, well, why have I been picked out? Is it something that's happening that they've noticed, sort of thing? So I was, I think, probably reticent is the best way of putting it. But as I say, she was able to reassure, and I just found it fantastic, to be honest.
Brilliant. That's great. And what about yourself, Debbie? Anything that you'd like to have? Any kind of take-home message from your point of view?
From my point of view, I think beneficial is the right word. Not just to the person who's taking part in the sessions, but to any partner.
Right, yes.
Or caregiver. Because his mood has not been as low as it used to get. He's more inclined to try things, and he's willing to do things in stages, which is a big thing. For Steve. I think pride often gets in the way of people when they have multiple conditions. They feel upset that they can't do things that they used to do. And I think this has given him the confidence to say, yeah, it's okay to do things in stages.
Yeah. Yeah, so as you mentioned before, that permission, it's okay. You don't need to do it all, in one go.
That's it.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned, Steve, that, you know, if anybody was offered it, you think they should take it up. So to both of you, really, do you feel that the BA support that was part of MOD should be offered more widely?
I think it would certainly help. It's obviously... problem is the same with everything, I think, these days. It's money and time. I noticed that it's said, where do you think it could be sort of offered from?
Yes, that's
another
another.
And I mean, things like,
question.
obviously, the GPs, that you have enough problems getting in to see them for an ordinary appointment without this sort of thing, which would need presumably extra personnel and extra money, extra funding, probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think something, if it could be offered, I mean, I know there are groups now that go around like Andy's
Man Club.
Andy's Man Club and things like that, which are on offer now. And one started up in the village. But I haven't felt confident going into a group of people and talking about what the problems are. Probably if I went, I would probably find it easier to do it.
Yeah.
But, because I've sorted it out from this point of view, I've not gone that way. So whether that would work or not, I don't know. It probably would, and it would make sense from the point of view if you were seeing 10 people at the same time.
Yes.
Then, you know, cost-wise and time-wise, it's more effective. But it may not get over the message quite as succinctly as one-to-one does.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously. And I mean, things like Age UK, which, I mean, I know we're involved with this, seems logical.
Yes.
But again, you've still got the same sort of problem of finance and everything else in these days. But I mean, if it could be worked out that it could be offered, I think it's, you know, I can't speak too highly of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But the big question is not if, but how.
Yes, yeah, I think that is a really good point, isn't it? You know, and there's things to be considered, such as, is it better offered individually, or is it something that could be done by a group? And as you say, the funding's got to be there. And if the funding's there, then there's maybe different avenues, different organisations that could
do
offer
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's nothing to stop different organisations all doing a one-to-one.
Yes,
You know, I find the one-to-one, because I mean, I think I would have felt conscious even just, I always went upstairs when I knew the session was on, because I didn't necessarily want to talk in front of Deb.
No.
Not for any particular reason, more than probably lack of confidence and just worry, I suppose.
Yeah.
And didn't want to say something that might upset her.
Right.
Whereas,
there's things that you'd probably say when your partner or caregiver wasn't there.
Yes. Yeah. That you might not say
for
if
any
they were.
particular reason, but that you might not say if you were in the same room.
And I think the same might apply if we're in a group of people, even if you don't know them. I think I would find it difficult to speak in front of a group to talk about my problems.
Yeah,
until I got to know them. I think once I got to know them, I'd probably do it, but it's that initial.
I think you would be reserved in a group. I think anybody would be more reserved about what they said in a group. So I think if it was going to be rolled out to more people, personally, I think the one-to-one route is better.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I think we've covered an awful lot, and really good to hear that you feel it helped you, Steve, which is, you know, what we wanted to happen.
Yeah,
so
that's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.